Good morning, guys. It is Monday, December 15th, and we are officially home. I did start vlogging over the weekend, but I don't remember if I did like actual chatty face to face time. If I didn't, well, welcome. We are back home, like I said. We returned home from our vacation on Friday. We ended up getting to the airport super early. We got off the ship pretty quick, and we were at the airport by like 9 a.m., I think. And we were able to get an earlier flight because our original flight didn't leave until after 6 p.m. So we were going to sit at the airport for the majority of the day, just doing nothing. And so I was able to get us an earlier flight with JetBlue, which I really did enjoy our experience with JetBlue. It was easy to make the changes. It was easy to book the tickets. The pricing was pretty good, but I have to say that the employees that we dealt with, both at the airport and on the planes themselves, were not the best. Most of the employees we dealt with were kind of rude. But it is what it is. You know, it's Christmas season. Everybody's busy. Everything that's been going on the last few, months and everything with airport employees, we just kind of ignored it and just tried to give them some grace. But definitely customer service is probably something that needs to be worked on. But anyways, it doesn't matter. We got home safe. That's what is important. We were able to come home and like immediately start laundry and get ourselves settled. We picked up the dogs on Saturday and had our groceries delivered and just kind of did all the things we need to do to settle for the week. We did a bunch of Christmas shopping this weekend. We got some presents for myself. Nick got some presents for him. We did shopping for our nieces and nephews, for my sister-in-law, for my brother. We need to figure out what we're going to do for my parents because I'm not really sure. Actually, now I'm thinking about that. We haven't got anything for my parents. We need to figure that out. I did do a little bit of writing. I don't even know when it was. Friday? Saturday? At some point. I wrote maybe like 500 or 600 words. I think it was Saturday morning. I am definitely still on like East Coast time. I have been by like 7 p.m. I'm tired. Florida is 3 hours ahead, so by 7 p.m. here, I'm tired. I'm waking up at like 4 a.m. and having a hard time going back to sleep. So jet lag has been a very real thing. Not jet lag, but I can't think of the word. But my body acclimating to the time change. Has definitely been going on, but these vlogs have been all over the place as far as the 90-day challenge goes. This whole series of videos since October have definitely not gone the way that I had initially intended. The whole kind of setup and plan that I had for the 90-day challenge was very like structured, like specific themed videos. They weren't necessarily vlog style. It was more focusing on a certain like theme or part of the book that I was writing. I had come up with an entire like plan. And that just did not happen, and I just had to accept that I am just not in that season of life right now. There's just too much going on, especially now. With everything with Nick, we found out while we were on the ship that he is definitely going to have to start dialysis. He had to do labs. We did that on Saturday. He has to do a chest x-ray. He's going to do that today. Wednesday, he has an outpatient procedure to have the tube that's in his abdomen extracted so that's his PD catheter for the dialysis. We're going to be starting dialysis training soon, which means they'd come and they'd do like a whole like home inspection because they want to make sure their house is cleaned and you have to be cleared to be able to do dialysis at home. And on top of getting ready for Christmas and getting back to work and just all the things. And life was already busy in October and November for me to worry about making sure that everything was perfectly structured, and it definitely is now. So we're already basically 95% of the way through the challenge, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. We're gonna continue with these vlog style videos. I really appreciate those of you who watch them, those of you who leave comments and engage, who give so much motivation through your engagement, through your own channels, your own videos, your own support. A lot of you guys are in the Discord with me. So I just really appreciate all of you guys, especially in this crazy time. I wanted this video to be or this specific vlog to be a little bit more focused on what it's like to try to finish a book, try to finish a writing challenge while also being a full-time caregiver. That's something that I mentioned in other videos, but it's not like the focus of the video, so I kind of want that to be the focus of this video. So that is something that I really want to thank you guys for, because being a caregiver, a full-time caregiver, a living caregiver, basically a nurse for your spouse, it can be very lonely, it can be very hard. Last time we did this 13 years ago, my mother-in-law was still alive and we lived with her, so she took a lot of the brunt of the work and the pressure, and so we kind of shared it and we kind of leaned on each other and depended on each other. And this time we don't have that. This time it's just me, and so I have been praying a lot and journaling a lot and just thinking about how we get through this. We don't know how long it'll be, how long Nick will be on dialysis. It could be our prayer and like speaking it out into existence, and our manifestation is that he will be on dialysis for the max 6 months. He'll have his transplant. They'll have a kidney for him before summer. That is a lofty dream that doesn't typically happen that quick. It can, but it's not common. But that is our hope and our goal and our prayer, and that is kind of what we're fixing our mind on as we move into the new year. So, but in truth, it could be 3 months, it could be 10 months, it could be 3 years. There's no way to know. So I'm trying to remind myself to be patient. If I'm feeling frustrated or tired or overwhelmed or whatever, not to take it out on Nick, because it's obviously not his fault. It's not something he can control. Obviously, he doesn't feel good. He is actively sick. It's not, nothing that's happening is intentional on his end. I knew what this was. I knew he, had this condition when we got married, when we started dating. He was very upfront from the beginning. None of this is a surprise. We knew this was going to happen again at some point. It's been 13 years, and he is very, very lucky that it has been 13 years, so we are very grateful for that. But just trying to be in the right headspace and remind myself that all we can do is take it one day at a time and give it to God and leave it in his hands, and he will work it out. And he has worked miracles before, and he will do it again, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 500 days from now, whatever it is. We just have to abide in it and just take it one day at a time. So anyways, it is Monday. Like I said, it is about 6:20. I got up, I made my coffee in my new Disney Cruise Line mug, which I love. I don't know if you can see that. It says the Disney Dream. I ended up getting 2 mugs out of my souvenirs from the cruise. Made coffee. I did get an espresso. I don't know if I showed that. I think I showed it before we went on the cruise. During Black Friday, I got an espresso, which I'm loving. Made my coffee. I did my morning pages, did my prayer time, a little bit of my Bible reading in the Bible app. I have Sarah Cannon on. I'm watching her Rough Draft Diary videos, and I'm starting to do some work. I have my work laptop, and I looked at my emails, and I'm starting to run some reports that I typically do on Mondays, so I can try to get to work and have the things that have to be done today kind of done.
Guys, it is later on now. It is about 3:45. I ended up leaving work early. I have not done any work today, or writing today, I should say. I did get a few things checked off my to-do list, but I haven't gotten any writing done. Work was really busy trying to catch up after vacation, and just a lot going on. I do have a new VA client, which is awesome, but obviously that does take away time from writing. But I won't be starting her. I'm going to be working as a social media manager for her, so I won't actually be starting until January, so that's good. But I did end up having to leave early because Nick is not feeling good. He is feeling kind of out of breath and weak. I think that is probably because his kidney is now truly failing, and he's probably starting to retain water. But obviously that can be dangerous and needs to be monitored. Also, he has had some cloudiness and issues in his lungs before. He had pneumonia, double pneumonia, in 2024. So it's definitely scary. When he had double pneumonia, he ended up being in the hospital for 12 days. So definitely trying to monitor it and catch it early if it is that. He doesn't have any other symptoms. He just says he feels really tired, which I think it's honestly just that the kidney's failing now, and he needs to get on dialysis. But of course, everything in this country with healthcare and medicine and everything is hurry up and wait. They want him to start dialysis, but he has to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G before he can actually start it. And so he kind of has to suffer in the meantime, which is ridiculous. And also, it's like impossible to get a hold of his doctor. So we can't really even reach out to them to like confirm if he should go to the ER or not. But obviously, we don't want to wait and then something be wrong. You know, and it turned out that we should have taken him when we did. So it's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot to kind of figure out. It's going to take a little bit for us to get settled. And of course, it's all happening right at holiday time, Christmas time, you know, all the things. So yeah, I'm gonna hurry up, get home, see how he's doing. We have a like oxygen monitor thing, so we use that on him, see if it's that, or see what his oxygen levels are at, and then check his blood pressure, which is always high anyways, and then kind of go from there and figure out what we're gonna do. So I will either check back in with you guys sometime tonight. If we don't end up going to the hospital, then I will try to get some writing done at some point. If we do go to the hospital, maybe I'll try to get some in on my phone while we're sitting in the waiting room or something. But yeah, I will check in with you guys later on and let you know what's going on. Okay, guys, it has been a crazy like last 15 hours. You know, they say not to like. It's so crazy because I just heard people at church talking about this on Saturday. There's like a saying within the like church community or whatever, not to pray for patience because then God will put you into situations that require your patience. Like we pushed into difficult situations that require your patience, and you're just getting, you know, what you asked for, opportunities to be patient. And I feel like that's what I did with this video. I started a video to show you guys what it's like to be a full-time caregiver for my husband while trying to write books and work full-time and all the things. But I expected to do that with Nick going in for chest x-rays yesterday and going to have his catheter extracted yesterday and sitting in a waiting room. Maybe starting dialysis this week. I did not expect that to mean that he was going to end up in the hospital. So I kind of feel like I asked for this a little bit. But yesterday was crazy. So we went to the hospital. I think I took like one clip in the ER waiting room, or maybe it was in the little room that had him in back in the emergency department. So I ended up being at the hospital with Nick until about 2 a.m. We ended up speaking to like 7 or 8 different doctors. I don't know why they do this. We had a couple of doctors from the ER itself come and ask Nick, you know, why he was there, his history, you know, doing all the labs, all the testing. Totally fine, totally understand that. Of course, that's the point. But then we had doctors from cardiology, from the like radiology department, from ICU, 2 or 3 different doctors from the ICU department come and talk to him, and all of them. I think we ended up seeing 6 or 7 doctors. That was just while I was there. He's seen more since. This phone keeps moving. All of them asked him the exact same questions, had him explain the exact same thing, and after hearing what he had to say and his history and why we were there, and looking at his labs and his vitals at the moment and all that, somehow they all came to different conclusions. First, they thought that he was having a heart attack, which I get, shortness of breath, you know, that's kind of like the first thing they worry about. Totally get it. They were checked in for a heart attack. They asked him, I don't know, maybe 100 times if he was having chest pains, which again I understand, but it becomes repetitive after a while. They thought that maybe he had a blood clot in like his lungs that was making it hard to breathe. So they did like EKGs to rule out heart attack. The doctor thought maybe it was like a silent heart attack, and that's why he wasn't having any chest pains or anything or symptoms. Then they thought maybe it was a blood clot, so they ended up having to reach out to the transplant team and get permission to do an x-ray with contrast, which you rule out the blood clot for sure, to rule out heart attack for sure. Eventually they came to the conclusion that it wasn't either of those things. Then they thought maybe He had pneumonia, but he has no fever, no cough, none of the other symptoms of pneumonia. He does have some crackles in his lungs, but he always has that. They mentioned that he has a heart murmur. So yeah, we ended up sitting in the ER. When I finally left, it was just before 2 a.m. Um, and they still didn't really know what they were going to do. They, at some point, came to the conclusion that he was going to need dialysis emergently right there in the hospital. So they talked to the kidney transplant team. We were trying to decide if they were going to um, decide if they were going to do the same extraction that he's supposed to have tomorrow, anyways, and use the port that's already there. But they thought that that might take too long. So then they decided to do a fast cath, which is a catheter that they put either in your leg, your neck, or your chest, which he was not happy about, but he doesn't really have a choice at this point. And do dialysis that way and hope that that kind of fix everything. They basically came to the conclusion that all of this is because the kidney is well and truly failing now, and it is no longer filtering out all of the toxins and things that they should be, or that it should be. His heart enzymes were super high, which is what also made them think heart attack or something, cardiac related. His potassium and like electrolytes were super high and out of whack. So basically, the last thing before I ended up leaving, they were kind of figuring is that it's all basically just related to the kidney failing and he needs dialysis like as soon as possible. So we knew from kind of right when we got there that they were going to admit him. Um, Again, they take like heart attack, potential for heart attack, very seriously. So we knew that they were going to admit him. We just didn't think it would take as long as it did. They didn't admit him until like 5 o'clock this morning. Um, and then he was still waiting for them to take him into the procedure to insert the catheter. So I finally got home a little bit after 2 a.m., changed, and literally just like took a quick shower to like clean myself off, and then went right to bed and slept for about 4 hours. And I kind of gathered all my stuff. I have my work laptop. Thank God I have the job that I do, and the boss was an angel, and I'm gonna work from the hospital, and we'll see what happens. He hasn't answered my last couple of text messages, so I'm thinking that maybe they took him finally to put the catheter in, which I had hoped to be there when they did that, because I knew he was nervous about it, and they said that it can be pretty painful. They are going to put him to sleep for it, but I'm assuming that after he'll be pretty sore and be in pain. So I wanted to be there for that, but he's not answering now. So unless they took him to do more EKGs or whatever, obviously they're doing something because he hasn't answered, or maybe he fell asleep. I was gonna stop and pick him up something to eat because he hasn't eaten since like noon yesterday, but then because he was potentially gonna have this procedure to put the catheter in, he wasn't allowed to eat. So we kind of scrapped that idea for now. I'll have to either go get him something later, or maybe my mom can bring something by. I have coffee. I started drinking it at home. I just need to finish it up. And I ended up, because he can't eat, I decided it's smart to just not spend the money. And so I made myself a little sandwich. So I'm going to eat that, get to the hospital. I am going to be working on a new log on. I have my cell phone, my laptop, all the stuff. But I'm going to try to get some words in while I can, while I'm kind of like not in the office. I don't think I have a super busy day, like workload-wise. So I will try to get some writing in. But yeah, I'm going to get to the hospital, see what he's up to, see if they have him in the room, and then I will fill you guys in later on today.
Hey guys, welcome back. So it is now several hours later. I don't know if you can see the time back there. It is 8:30. I spent the whole day at the hospital with Nick, did my work for the day. Did get, I think 1,300 words written earlier. I took some clips of it. He was able to do dialysis. He got a round of dialysis in and is already helping his blood pressure. They ruled out that there's nothing wrong with his heart, thank God. And now he's just there relaxing and gonna be there the rest of the night. And then I will head back in the morning. Hopefully he'll get released at some point tomorrow. There's no guarantee, but that's what we're hoping. He did see the nephrologist, and the nephrologist had just good things to say, so we are hopeful. I did stop on the way home. Oh, actually, before I say that, I was watching Sarah Cannon's rough draft videos like all day, basically trying to catch up because I hadn't watched any of them. And she did one talking about doing a home writing retreat. She talked about sometimes depending on like finances or if you have kids or your spouse, whatever it is, you may not be able to go like out somewhere, stay in a hotel or an Airbnb or whatever. You may not be able to actually go somewhere for a writing retreat, but that there's no reason why you can't do a writing retreat at home. And so she kind of got me inspired, and I figured why not make lemonade out of lemons and take a bad situation and make it a little better and take advantage of the fact that I am home alone, that I typically can't sleep when Nick's not here anyways, and I'm feeling pretty motivated today. I want to do my own little writing retreat tonight while I'm here home alone. So I'm going to do that, make the most of it. I really want to try to finish the story by the end of the month, so why not take advantage of this opportunity that has presented itself. So one of Sarah's tips was to create your own like little environment, get your favorite drinks, your favorite snacks, your favorite food, whatever, and create a little environment for yourself. So that's what I'm doing. I stopped on the way home. First thing I did when I got home was change. I'm wearing the same little sweatshirt, but I changed my pants into comfier like pajama pants. And I stopped on my way home and picked up, it doesn't look like much in here, but this is these Szechuan brisket like noodles that I absolutely love from this noodle house close to our house. I don't know if you can see that, but in here there is brisket and there's actual like hand pulled noodles, Chinese noodles, and it is so good. It smells so good. I wish you guys could smell it. So there's brisket in there, there's like bok choy or whatever in there, then the noodles, and then the broth, which is so good. And this is usually enough for like 2 servings too. And then I splurged a little bit and got these spicy wontons, which I've never had, but I'm hoping are very good. You can see like they look pretty spicy. The sauce is pretty red, so we'll see. So I'm gonna have that. I think I'm going to get myself a nice big glass of water. You can probably hear Dobby barking outside, which is what he always does. Let me get him. I think I'm gonna get myself a nice big glass of like ice water because I feel kind of dehydrated. And I haven't had very much water in the last couple of days while I warm up my broth and get everything set up. I have my laptop set up on the table over here. I'll show you in a minute. I'm gonna put YouTube on. I think I'm gonna put like a, I was thinking about putting Sarah's videos back on, but I think that'll probably distract me because I'll want to watch those. They were just kind of distracting me while I was working earlier. So I think I might just put on like a ambient timer, like Tabata timer kind of video. Let me see if this broth is actually still pretty hot. Ooh, I forgot how spicy that broth is. I think I'm just gonna pour this in here and then I'll stick the whole thing in the microwave and warm all of it up. But like I just filled that entire bowl and there's still this much liquid left. So really I could make myself like some ramen and pour this in and cook the ramen in it, or some rice. That would be really good. I'm gonna warm this up and I can hear let me stick this in first. Notifications keep going off, which means that there's people in the Discord right now. So maybe there's people doing sprints that I can hop in with also. So that'll be good. Let me see if my little wontons are still warm enough. I should warm those up too. Okay, these smell really good and they actually look like legit like wontons, like dumplings from like dim sum, like Din Tai Fung. Those smell really good. I have my chopsticks, some soy sauce, a napkin, and I am going to I'm gonna get my ice water, get myself settled, and then I will do some like B-roll, clicky clacky type clips, and then I'll let you guys know how much I write. Oh, I am gonna show you. I created a little schedule for the night, so I'll show you that too. Okay, guys, so I wanted to show you this. This is my little like writing dashboard that I've had for a few years on Notion now. But when I was watching Sarah's video earlier, she talked about having a schedule. One of the tips she gave was having a schedule for your writing retreat. And so that is what I did. So I created a schedule, 7 to 9, drive home, get my food, eat. I was thinking about watching Alice in Borderland while I eat. It took forever for me to get my car out of the valet at the hospital. It took so much longer than I expected. So I kind of pushed everything back. So it's already 8:36, but there should be enough time for me to start eating, and just kind of settle a little bit, relax, and then jump into writing. Then I have myself writing from 9 to 10 for an hour. Then I'm gonna take a little break, probably shower, clean up, whatever, maybe go upstairs, and then I'm gonna try to write from 11 to 1 a.m. I hardly ever stay up that late anymore, but when I do, it's usually to read. I think I'm gonna try to stay up. I stayed up till almost 2 yesterday and had a hard time falling asleep, so I think I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. This is like a one-time thing. I mean, unless he ends up staying in the hospital again tomorrow night, then maybe I can do it again, but hopefully this will just be a one-time thing. So I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna try to stay up to 1 a.m. writing. Basically, Sarah said that what she does, because she's kind of a night owl, is what she does is she stays up as long as she actually can until like her eyes start closing and she can feel herself falling asleep. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So yeah, that's my little schedule. We're gonna see how it goes. I have my food, I have my water, I have my little plan, I have the TV on. Maybe I'll put Sarah on while I eat until 9, so I have about 23 minutes. And then I will jump right into writing. I'll probably hop on Discord too and see who's around and talk to people and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I will let you guys know how much writing I get done. Okay guys, so it is about a little more than 20 minutes later. I'm still eating my food. I'm slowly making my way through it. But I'm going to get ready to hop into my writing sprints because I want to jump right in. I don't want to procrastinate. I want to get it done. So it is 8:52. I'm going to start figuring out, so you know how it is. You say I'm going to start writing at this time, but then really what happens is you actually start finding the right music and the right candles and the right drink and the right snack. And then next thing you know, it's like half an hour after you want it to start. So I'm going to be proactive and I'm going to preemptively get all that stuff ready. So I'm going to stop Sarah's video because I do think I would just be distracted if I keep her on while I try to write. So, I don't know if I've really given an update on my writing recently. I am still working on Project Motorcycle, which I've been working on for the whole of the 90-day challenge. I am currently on chapter 32, I believe. We are about to enter the dark night of the soul. The breakup is about to happen, and we are ruining my main character's little lives. So but it's actually pretty sad. I was writing it earlier in the hospital, the catalyst to what causes the breakup, and it actually kind of made me emotional. It made me feel a little bit teary. I didn't actually cry, but it made me a little bit teary. It was definitely in my feels. So let's see if I can find. So I have when we were on the plane on our trip last week, I wrote a little bit. I didn't write much, but I wrote, I think, 1 or 2 chapters maybe. And I ended up, I wasn't feeling very motivated, so I decided to switch things up. And I need to watch that too. Maybe I'll watch that tonight in bed. Can you tell I have ADHD? What was I saying? Oh, on the plane. I decided to switch things up and start from the end of the book and start writing backwards. Sometimes that helps me. So I did that. So I have already written the epilogue. I always forget which one's first, epilogue or prologue. It's the epilogue at the end of the book, right? I already wrote the epilogue and the 2 chapters before it, I think. So now I'm kind of working my way on both sides and kind of trying to meet in the middle and bring the 2 sides together to meet in the middle. And so I want to say I maybe only really have 4 or 5 chapters left to write in this story. Maybe less. It might be more like 3 or 4. So yeah, I'm getting close. We are on the 16th. It's my goal tracker on Dabble says that I would need to write, I think it's like 1,250 words every day for the rest of the month in order to hit my goal. I can definitely surpass that. There are days when I actually sit down and focus that I could write like 3,000 words, so double the amount that I need for one day. So it could potentially be less than that, and depending on how many words I write tonight. So, yeah, that's basically where we are right now. Like I said, I'm going to try to figure out what I want to listen to. Good work. So this is an ambient video of the monorail in Disney World, which I love, and immediately makes me feel like I'm at home. It makes me feel nostalgic, so I'm going to leave that on. It is 8:58, so I have that on. I'm going to let Dobby out real quick, so hopefully he'll lay down while I'm writing, and then I'm going to see if there's people around to jump into a sprint, and I'm going to get going on my first writing sprint from 9 to 10. So I'll show you guys some B-roll, some clickety-clackety keyboard time, and then I will tell you guys how much I ended up writing. Hey guys, this is not the best lighting, but I did just finish my first sprint. It is a little bit after 2 now. I did a couple of sprints with friends in the Discord. I ended up writing just over 1,800 words. I wrote 1,805 words in the last hour, which brought me to a total of 3,365 words for today. My goal was 1,271, so I have more than doubled that. I've almost tripled it, I think. Yeah, I'm close. I'm about 200 words shy of tripling it. So I'm very happy about that. I am now on chapter 34, and I am getting closer and closer to where I was writing at the back end of the story. So I'm closing that gap more and more. I am now squarely in the Dark Night of the Soul part of the story, and I am, like I said, getting closer and closer to getting it done. I ended up turning on the Christmas lights and turning on our little fireplace thing, which I just now realized has not been on this whole time. And just kind of enjoying the ambiance, enjoying the music that I have on. I'm now listening to the Hobbit ambiance music. I ate most of my food, but I'm going to have leftovers for tomorrow, which I love. I have on my schedule next to upstairs and kind of get changed and maybe changed and showered. Just kind of get cleaned up and reset before I start my next sprint, the long haul sprints to 1 a.m. I'm tempted to just kind of stay down here because the dogs have finally settled, and I know that if I get into bed, then I am going to probably get sleepier quicker, whereas here I'm sitting up, obviously I'm like more alert, and not feeling as like comfortable as I would in bed. So I don't know. Okay, guys, it turns out that I am definitely an old lady now. I cannot hang. It is 11 and I am tired. I also should give myself the grace that I did not go to sleep until 2 a.m. tomorrow, which is not the norm for me at all. Yesterday, I did not go to sleep until 2 a.m. yesterday, which is not the norm, and I think it's now catching up to me. And I knew that as soon as I got in bed, I would be tired also, or I would be more relaxed, which would make me more tired. Also, both dogs are sleeping, and they are very cuddly, and yeah, I can just feel it hitting me. But I have been productive. I wrote a lot of words during the day today. I wrote a lot of words when I got home. I did a post for Substack. I checked a couple of other smaller things off my to-do list. Finished another Sarah video. So yeah, it has definitely been a productive day, a productive evening. Nick already texted me, let me know that he was going to bed so that I wouldn't text him anymore and accidentally wake him up because he obviously needs to sleep. So yeah, I'm going to change and see if I can get to bed a little bit earlier tonight. That way I can get to the hospital earlier in the morning. So I'm going to leave this here, and I will pick you guys back up tomorrow. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. It is Wednesday now. It is Wednesday. I don't even know what date it is. The 17th, I think, is the date. It's pretty early. It's like 6:30 on the dot right now. I am dressed as you can see. I am getting ready to head back to the hospital with Nick. I am just rearranging my bag that I have with me, or that I take with me, I should say. He asked me to bring him a couple things, his chopstick and some peppermint oil. We use that when he's having migraines. So bring that for him. And I'm just rearranging my bag. And then he is requesting that I stop and pick up some donuts, some Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm going to do that because he has gone through a lot in the last few days and he deserves some donuts. So I'm going to do that, pick him some of those up, which means I get some donuts too, which I will never complain about. So let me rearrange my bag real quick. I'm now trying to decide if I'm going to make myself coffee or not. I'm going to make myself, I'm just going to talk to you guys while I rearrange the bag. I was going to make myself a big mug of coffee to take with me. That's my key. So I would have it in the hospital because the hospital coffee was terrible yesterday. Although they do have a mini Starbucks vendor in there, and I couldn't get it yesterday because they were closed. But maybe they'll be open today, so I could get coffee that way. I guess if I'm gonna go to Dunkin', there's no reason for me to make coffee here. Typically, I would just have coffee twice, but I was gonna make myself a pretty big coffee. And if I don't make myself coffee here, then that saves me an espresso pod, which aren't cheap, so that could be worth it. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just wait and go ahead and get a Dunkin's coffee. Now the question is, do I want an iced coffee or do I want a hot coffee? I'm not the biggest fan of Dunkin' coffee, but decisions.
Okay, so we also don't have a lot of Dunkins around, so I gotta figure out which one is the. We also don't have a lot of Dunkins around. We noticed when we were in Florida last week that Dunkin' is definitely more prevalent in Florida. We have maybe, I think 2 in our general area. But I feel like in Florida there's one on every corner. Gotta figure out which one would be nice to me. The one nearest us or one closer, if there is one, closer to the hospital. I'm trying to decide what I want to take with me. I have.
Okay guys, it is several hours later. It is about 7:50. I took some clips in the hospital, I think, not too many. This video is getting a little long, so I didn't want to do too many because I've been chatting off and on a lot. But I'm home now, changed into my pajamas. As you can see, I put the dog's food down. I turned on the Christmas lights, although half my lights are not on. We have garland and lights going up the stairs, and half of them didn't turn on, so I need to figure that out. But I have not eaten dinner, so I'm basically going to have a repeat of last night and do a little at-home, not necessarily fully writing retreat. It's going to be kind of a little bit of everything retreat. I'm going to try to do some writing because I have not written today. But I've been watching Sarah's videos again, still trying to catch up, and she had a lot of the videos I watched were about her planners and her journals and getting ready for 2026 and that kind of thing. That really has me in the mood, which I've already been thinking about anyways, because I have some videos that I need to film that are about that kind of thing, which I might try to film some videos tonight, maybe. So she's got me in that mood. So I have been thinking about what planners I want to use in the new year. I do have a planner, the inserts for a planner on the way. I wish they were here already, but actually I do have, I think I need to check my Amazon account and see if my order has been delivered. She's got me in the mood to do planning and journaling and that kind of thing. So I did actually have some journaling that I had planned on doing earlier in the day and I never got a chance to. So I think I'm just gonna hang out. I'm building myself a little planner nest, as Sarah calls it. I might put on, or not might, I'm going to put on BTS, the K-pop group BTS. They went live yesterday as a whole 7. Yesterday or the day before. And it is the video has been put onto YouTube with subtitles, so I think I'm gonna put that on actually. I'm just gonna put that on in the background. I am gonna heat up the rest of my leftovers from yesterday, so I'm very excited about that. And yeah, we're just gonna hang out for the night. So I will probably do some B-roll clips. I will tell you guys what I'm getting up to. I am gonna try to stay up a little bit later tonight. Since I got a decent amount of sleep last night, I'm gonna try to do my original plan of staying up later. I can't sleep in a little bit tomorrow because when I got to the hospital this morning, it turns out that visiting hours don't start until 8, so I couldn't go in anyways. Okay, so here's my little setup. I have my Christmas tree, my little fireplace, my TV. So here's the thing. I was gonna watch that BTS video, but I had the Lord of the Rings like ambient music on, and now I want to watch Lord of the Rings. And my brother has the extended versions, so that is gonna be what I put on. I recently watched The Fellowship of the Rings. I feel like I've watched The Fellowship of the Rings a couple of times. Fellowship of the Ring, a couple of times recently. So I think instead I'm gonna do The Two Towers. I just gotta find it. And thankfully my brother is just as much of a nerd as I am and has it. So I'm gonna find Lord of the Rings on here, put that on. I have my food. I have some iced tea. You can see I have a pile up of things. I'm gonna do a little a little haul at some point. I have a bunch of stuff. I will show you guys all this once I start kind of going through it. But for now, I'm gonna eat my food, put this movie on, and see what I can start going through and getting up to. A little while later. It's 9:07 now, so I've been home for a couple of hours. It seems so much later, I think just because it gets so dark so early now. I feel like it's later. I thought it was like 11 or something. So still pretty early. I have been doing I haven't filmed it because I need my phone for what I'm doing, but I am just doing some like memory keeping in my planner. I had some empty pages in my planner where throughout the year I have done, like at the beginning of each month, I have written like what I hope will happen this month, what my goals are for the month, my intentions for the month, that kind of thing. And then at the end of the month, I've done like a month in review, what went well, what didn't, what happened, you know, what went through or what fell through, stuff like that. And I still had some empty pages. So I have this little Canon printer. I think, did I talk about this morning? I don't remember if I did or not, but I have this little Canon printer that prints directly from your phone. So I am printing little pictures from throughout the year and adding them into each month's blank pages. That way this is a planner, but also kind of a little memory keeping thing. But I ran out of paper for my printer. I had started printing these pictures earlier at the hospital and I knew I was gonna run out, so I ordered more, which is back here. So I said that I would do a little haul and show you guys what I ordered. So I'm gonna open it up to pull out the paper that I ordered, so I will show you guys what I ordered. See, I feel like I've been doing this for so much longer than I actually have been. I'm just shy of an hour into the Two Towers. For some reason, I think our internet's like messing up because the movie keeps like buffering and pausing. So it is taking a little bit longer. So I think it's actually been a little bit longer than an hour, but I feel like I've been sitting here. If you're watching this video, I just want to say thank you, because me being home alone like this is not the norm. Nick and I have been together for going on 18 years, and the only time we've never really been separated other than when he has been in the hospital or when he was in Arizona when he had his last transplant for 6 weeks. He was in Arizona with his mom. But other than that, we're not really ever separated. We've never really like gone on vacation without the other. And at the beginning of our relationship we did, but once we moved in together, especially after his mom died, he can't really be left alone because he's prone to seizures sometimes. Obviously he can get sick, anything can happen. I don't really feel comfortable leaving him alone for like long stretches of time or like multiple days or anything. So this is not the norm for me to be home by myself for overnight, I should say. The only time this happens is when he's in the hospital. So while I don't mind it, I like being by myself, so it's not like I'm worried or anything. My mom is someone who cannot like be by herself. She hates being home by herself. it like frightens her and she gets anxious, whatever. That's not definitely not me. Like I can set up my own little space. Of course, I wish he was here, but you know, I can make the most of it, make my own little space. I know he'll be back, you know. But it can get lonely, and it is definitely different than what I'm used to. And of course, I have the dogs, thank God. If I didn't have the dogs, then I think it would be a different story. But it can get lonely, and I am grateful that I have you guys to talk to and to feel like I'm having a conversation with and to keep me entertained. So, anyways, these are the little photo cards that go in here. So they are sticky. They're small. I'm not even sure what size this is, but they're tiny. And the backs peel off and they're sticky so you can use them for journaling or whatever. So I ordered more. This is a pack of 20. I don't know if I'll use all 20. I've been using, it depends on the month. I've been using 2 or 3 per month and I'm up to June. So another 6 months, 2 times, so maybe another 12. So I don't think I'll use, although for December I might end up using a lot because we did the cruise. But we'll see. So I'm going to refill this. We refill this so it'll, actually I don't want it to start printing because then the noise will be too loud for while I'm filming. So actually, let me go ahead and open the bag back here and then I will get back to what I was doing. Back here, this, so if you've ever watched Sarah Cannon, which again, I feel like I talked about this. I think I talked about this earlier in the vlog maybe. I've watched Sarah Cannon. She has her HB90 method, like planning method. I took her class back in 2023, I think. And or maybe I was talking to Renee about it. I've been talking to my friend Renee, who is also on YouTube. I'll link her down below. We've been doing sprints together and talking and stuff. And we were talking about the HB90 method. Sarah's HB90 method, I took the class in 2023. And every year I try it. And I do like the method. But I like the idea of having the physical Kanban boards that she has. I've tried like the digital version and I just don't like it as much. I did do it in my planner for a little while and I did kind of like that. But last year I bought what's the word? I can't think of the word. Boards. There's a specific name for them and I cannot think of what they are. Not dry erase boards, but the kind you put like push pins in. There's a word for it. I can't think of it. But I bought some of them. And I put them up in the closet. I showed this in a vlog at the beginning of the year sometime. I think I did like a planning vlog. And I showed it. But I put them in that closet that I use where my desk is upstairs. And that was my intention to use those as a Kanban board. But the boards that I got were just like peel and stick. But they didn't stick. And then they kept falling down and then the Post-its kept falling off of them and it was just a pain. And so I quickly was like over it and didn't want to bother with it anymore. So every time I tried to do the HB90 method, it sounds good in theory and then I just end up not loving it. She does have a whole HB90 like planner, which I think, is that what's in here? No, that is no. I feel like I printed the HB90 planner at some point, or maybe I didn't this year because I knew I wasn't going to use it. I keep, like, there's been a couple years where I thought I was going to use it, and then I end up not using it because I already have a planner. So maybe this year I didn't print it. But anyways, every time I try to do the HB90 method, something goes wrong. But I like the general idea of it. I think maybe some of it is a little bit too much for me, but I like the core idea of it. And Sarah showed something in one of her videos today that I immediately was like, oh, I want to do that. So I immediately went onto Amazon to order the things that she had. So I will show you what I got. So the first thing I got is, which I've been meaning to order more of anyways, is a pack of these tabs. So I ordered these little tabbies. I have ordered these before. I use these when I'm annotating books. I use these in my Bible. I have used them as like post-it notes and things like that. And I needed more of them. So I end up using them like as bookmarks also. That way I have them to tab when I tab books. I really want to try to read more physical books in 2026 as well and get back to annotating books because I really do enjoy doing it. So I ordered these. I also not part of this order, but recently I ordered more mild liners to also do for journaling, but also to do for book annotating. So yeah, I need more of these anyways, but this does go with what I'm gonna show you and what Sarah showed today. Let me get this open. So the thing which I didn't really think about when I originally started this or ordered all this stuff, I was thinking that what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to do, would go on my desk upstairs. But the thing is that now with Nick on dialysis, once he's on the actual correct dialysis, and after we go through training or everything, they're going to deliver to our house a bunch of boxes. We are going to have a ton of stuff, a ton of inventory in our house of MDE medical durable equipment. It's going to be like cleaning supplies to clean like his port, and gauze and alcohol pads and different types of like wound cleaner and tubing for the machine and the machine itself and all of the saline boxes. They're going to give us like 20 to 30 saline boxes at a time. And just all of the different things for the machine. And we have to keep all of that somewhere. And we don't really have, Nick has his office, but he has his desk in there. He has a couch in there. He's in there every day. I'm not in my office as often. So it looks like my office is going to become our kind of little storeroom, which sucks, but at the same time, of course, first of all, him needing his dialysis is more important. But, I'm not as in there as often because I am at work all the time. So that's what we're leading towards. I'm going to try to see if we can fit stuff. We have a big closet right at the top of the stairs. I'm going to see if we can fit everything in there. But I have a feeling that some stuff is still going to overflow into my office. So I hadn't really thought about that when I ordered this because I think I'm going to keep these on my desk in my office. So we'll see how it ends up all working out. But I can't show you what the exact end result is going to be because I haven't done it yet. But I can show you what I got and give you a general idea. So I ordered these. They are, I wonder if they're, yeah, okay. So they look cloudy, but they're not actually. There's like protectant paper on them. So once I peel that, these will be clear. What Sarah did in her video was that she had something like this. She put a piece of paper inside it, and it was divided into 3 sections. Doing done, which is how the Kanban boards work. And then she was putting little tabs to track what she was working on and just as a physical way to kind of see the progress that she's making. And, if you know anything about Kanban boards, then you know how it works. But just as a physical way to see what you're working on. And that is part of the HB90 method. And so this pack that I got has 3 of them. So what I think I'm going to do is have one be, have each of the 3 sections. One be to do, one be doing, one be done. And use these as my Kanban board, my physical Kanban boards. I am a visual person. I really like doing things like tangibly. And I really want to try to do the HB90 method this year. I think that with Nick being on dialysis now, with him hopefully this year having a transplant, I'm going to be home more. I may be working from home more, at least for a little bit. So I think I will probably spend a little bit more time in my office. But I'm going to try to be more intentional about being in there, about going in there in the mornings or in the evenings when I'm working and really making sure that I'm getting like my to-do list done. That's something that I really want to be more intentional about in 2026. So I think this will be the perfect way to do that. So yeah, that is what I ordered today. This might be my next project, but I want to finish my journaling that I've been doing. So yeah, I was trying to show you guys what I was, I intended to open these anyways, and I said that I would do a haul. So I want to show you guys that. So I'm going to go ahead, keep doing what I've been doing, put my movie back on, and I will check back in with you guys when I am done. Okay, guys, it's a little bit later. It's about an hour later. I'm still only, or maybe it's about 45 minutes later. I'm still only halfway through, not even, of, actually I think I'm just about halfway through the extended version of Lord of the Rings. But this, you can see, is kind of what I've been doing. Putting pictures, writing little notes. I have done that for every month. I'm on November. My little Canon thing, I think, is kind of like overheating because it's not working very well. But I only have December left, so I will wait and probably just do that at the end of the month. But I'm caught up for the rest of the year. So that is exciting. I'm very glad that I was able to do that. That's something that I have been meaning to do like all year. So next, I think I'm going to maybe I'll go ahead and put these Kanban board things together. I can at least get them put together, and then maybe I can start making a little list of things I want to do. I have some books here that I want to read a little bit of. I started doing this like journaling role-playing game, solo role-playing game. I would like to do that a little bit more. I want to go through some of these planners and figure out what I'm going to do for next year. And like I said, just kind of a variety of things that I want to work on. So it's only 10. It's a little bit after 10 now. I am feeling a little bit tired, so I don't know how long I'll stay up. I would like to stay up, like I said yesterday, till like 1, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. I think my late night days might be kind of past me. I might be past that stage of life. I think I'm in my old lady era. But I'm going to stay up as late as I can. So it looks like I think there's about another hour and a half left of the 2 towers. Maybe I'll try to finish that. Maybe I'll try to stay up until about midnight. I think I might be able to swing that. So yeah, I think as long as I keep busy and kind of stay sitting up like this, I'll be okay. But I know as soon as I lay down, I will probably pass out. So I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to see about getting these acrylic things put together, and I will show you guys that. So I finished that. Actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. So I got these done. I have the done, doing, and to do. I think these are going to work out perfect, actually. I'll probably just keep these like along the back of my desk. I'll have to take them up there and play around with it and see how they look. But let's see about these. The only thing that I wasn't sure about with these is that some of them are like transparent and they might be kind of hard to write on. But I love these. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time that I've ordered this pack. I really like, they come in like all variety of colors on each like set. A lot of times I will switch around the colors to create one set like color scheme on one of the cards based on like the cover of the book, so that the colors match when I annotate and the little tabs stick out. But I'm gonna see, I might pick maybe a color that I don't love, or something that's easy to see. Maybe I'll do like a purple. I think I'm gonna take this one. This like second kind of pink color, lighter pink color is sticking out at me. And I think it'll kind of match with the color that I wrote on there with. So I think I'm gonna do that. And then if I run out, then I can change, obviously. I think I'll keep this tab to go on these, and I will use that. And then now I am reset on these for 2026. I have a specific drawer in my I have like a pen holder on my desk, and I have a specific drawer where I always keep these, so I will put those up there. And I'm going to start filling some of these out for the things that I want to do tonight and get them on here, and then I will move on to the next thing. Okay guys, well, I did it. I managed. I'm trying to turn this down so you don't see the overhead light as much, but I did it. It is officially 1:09 a.m. I stayed up. I got a whole bunch of things done. I got that planner, kind of all the pictures added to the planner, the memory keeping. I updated my 5-year journal. I did some reading in 2 different books. I finished the 2 Towers and started The Return of the King. What else? I created my writing tracker for 2026, updated my reading tracker for 2025, did our budget, and yeah, just got a bunch of like little miscellaneous different things done. I got those acrylic signs done, and I'm already really liking them. And I've been adding stuff to them as I've kind of been thinking about them, so I'm already really liking those. I cleaned up a little bit downstairs. I still have some stuff down there that I need to bring up in the morning. I think I'm going to try to get up now that it's later than I usually go to sleep. I'm going to try to get up around 6 tomorrow and try to get the laundry going, get our sheets going in the laundry, and get downstairs cleaned up and stuff. So that hopefully Nick comes home tomorrow and the house will be nice and clean for him. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and end tonight's vlog here, or this part of the vlog here. This vlog, I also editing the vlog, I did that too. Edited up to when I left the hospital. And the vlog is already 48 minutes long, and it's only Wednesday. So, and I haven't even added everything that I filmed tonight as I've been home. So I think I'm gonna have to cut out some of my B-roll stuff probably. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end tonight's part of the vlog here, and I will pick you guys back up in the morning. So I will see you then. Good morning, guys. It is, I don't even know what day it is. Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday, the 19th, I think, and it is 6:35. I've been up, kind of just laying in bed for a little bit. Nick has been texting me. They have already been in to see him. This is definitely more like a full-on surgery than what it would have been had he done it in the outpatient. They had to come and like wipe down his whole body and like disinfect him. He had to sign like consent waivers. He hasn't been able to eat since midnight, and just kind of all the things that they do before a surgery. So like I said, I think I said last night, I can't get like upstairs to his room until after 8. So there's no reason for me to leave the house too early. So if I get to the room and he's not there, then I know that they already took him. I'm trying to have him ask how long the surgery will be, so I have an idea. Because I probably won't stay in his room because he shares a room with somebody. So I'll probably maybe just go down and sit like in the cafeteria. But yeah, I'm going to make myself some coffee and make myself a nice big thing of coffee. I am kind of tired. I finally went to sleep after 1. I think I showed you guys. So, and it's 6:30, so I got about 5.5 hours of sleep. So it's still not terrible, but definitely not as many hours of sleep as I should have. But yeah, I'm gonna make myself a big cup of coffee. I'm going to fill this up with water, ice water, because I'm feeling kind of dehydrated. My lips are kind of chapped and my tongue is a little dry. So I think I didn't have enough water yesterday. And I think that noodles that I had twice in a row is pretty salty. So I'm gonna do that, have my coffee, maybe sit, kind of pitter around with my planners and stuff for a little bit before I go upstairs and Good morning, guys. Welcome back. So it is Friday the, 19th or 20th now. It is about 6:50. I am up and dressed, as you can see. I don't think I updated very much yesterday. It was a whirlwind, emotional, crazy day. We started off the day knowing that Nick would go and have basically surgery to have the PD catheter removed so that they could do dialysis, make sure it was working, and then he could hopefully be released. The surgeon who we really like had originally said it would be early afternoon sometime. But if something opened up, then maybe it could be earlier in the morning. The hardest part was that Nick, obviously you're not supposed to eat or drink anything before surgery. So Nick had not eaten or had water since before midnight the night before. And so he went all day with no water, no eating. They couldn't give him his meds. They like wiped him down with all these disinfectant wipes and stuff, and had these like monitors on him and these leg like compression cuffs and all this stuff. Like he was ready to go, and they did all that at like 5 a.m. saying okay, could be any time, and then they just never came and got him, and it was all day, and he was so thirsty. I felt so bad for him, and then finally, the doctor came, the nephrologist came. And said, like, if the surgery goes well and you tolerate the dialysis, like, he can try to get you out of here today. Nick was able to talk to the, not transplant, but the dialysis center, and they have us scheduled to start training on Monday. And he's just over it. He is done. He's ready to be out of the hospital, which I don't blame him. They came and got him at 3:15 for the surgery. I stayed in the room, waited. I got a phone call 2 hours later, just shy of 5:15, telling me that he wasn't even in surgery yet. They had him waiting in pre-op for an OR to open up. I knew he had to be pissed. I was frustrated. I couldn't imagine how frustrated he probably was. By that point, he had had nothing to eat, no water, nothing in 24 hours. I hadn't had his meds either, so like his blood pressure was super high and all this stuff. The person I spoke to told me that I could come down and sit with him, so I did that, and tried to keep him calm as best I could. He was starting to get a migraine because he hadn't had his medicine, so I tried to rub his forehead and his neck a little bit, but that's hard because he has the catheter thing in his neck and he's ready to have that out too because it's painful. We sat there for another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Finally, the surgeon came and she was like, I'm so sorry, we're a trauma center, so anytime an emergent trauma comes in, we get bumped off for the OR, so that's what keeps happening. And she's like, it's gonna be another 3 hours, so you can either sit here and wait for 3 hours, at which time it was already 6 or 7 o'clock at night at that point, and she was like, you can wait another 3 hours, it's already too late for them to dialyze you either way, so you're not going home tonight either way. Or you can wait and we will do the surgery at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So Nick was not happy. She apologized. We apologized because it's not her fault. She's just waiting for the OR to open up. And she was very nice. She was really, really nice. Nick kind of calmed down a little bit and agreed to do the surgery today. So they're hoping for 11 a.m. today, if not earlier, which I'm not keeping my hopes up on that, but I'm really hoping that it actually is 11 a.m. and it's not take him down to the pre-op at 11 a.m. and then he sits there for however long again. God, please do not lie me like that again. She already spoke to the nephrologist. They are going to have dialysis set up as soon as he's done, so he can do the dialysis. If the dialysis works, they'll release him today. You guys are going to see this later on. It'll have already happened, but I am praying right now in the moment that is how it goes. He's over it. He wants to sleep in his own bed. He wants to shower. We both have missed an entire work of week. Well, I'm not really. He's missed an entire week of work. I have been working remotely, but I know my boss isn't fully happy about that either. Now we're about to be starting dialysis training next week. We both need to be at that, so I'm going to be working remotely again. One of my other coworkers is her mom is having health issues, so she had to take off all of next week. So it's just a lot of things happening. And he's starting to get really anxious and is ready to be out. So anyways, I did do some writing yesterday. Cody and Charlie and who else? Katie Ann all went live yesterday, around 4, I think at 4. They went live and I hopped on the first 40 minute sprint and was able to I did a good amount of words. I think I did 13 or 1400 words and wrote half a chapter, which I'm very happy about. They had a second sprint, but I ended up missing it because that's right when the guy called me to come down to the surgery center and all that. I came home. I didn't get home until after 9, and my brain was just fried. It had just been so much in one day. I just sat and played video games and just kind of relaxed, and then went to sleep around 11. So it's almost 7 now. I'm going to make some coffee really quick. I'm going to make myself a little sandwich for breakfast, clean up a little bit so that when Nick comes home tonight, the house is kind of picked up and there's stuff everywhere. And then I'm gonna head to the hospital. I also didn't film yesterday because this vlog is getting very, very long. I have edited it up to this point and it's already an hour long. So I'm trying to...
It has been a stressful morning, but it is 2:30 now and they've finally just taken him back into the room for his surgery. I'm watching the status board that shows that, the status of the surgery, and he's still in the operating room. We sat in the pre-op room for 3 hours. They came and got him at 11:30 and they just now took him at 2:15. So he was not happy, but he's back there now. He's in the operating room. They're putting him completely under, so he'll take a nice long nap. And then they have already confirmed that they would do a little bit of dialysis and then release him as long as everything was well. So he should be going home tonight, thank God. So yeah, I'm gonna hang out, get some work done, do some writing, and I'll let you guys know once we're home.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back. So it is Saturday the 20th now, I think. It is about 9:15. I'm in the driveway for Burger King. Yesterday was a crazy day. So I got to the hospital. We sat around for a while. They finally came and got Nick for surgery around 10:30 maybe, which we were happy about because it was earlier than what she had kind of said. But then again, he sat in the pre-op area for another 3 hours. And he was just kind of going nuts, just sitting back there waiting again, just kind of losing his shit, honestly. And I was losing my patience a little bit because it's hard to see him like that, and we just have very different personalities. I'm just the kind of person who's going to sit and wait and, read my book or scroll TikTok or whatever, and I'm just going to wait. Nick is very much the opposite. He wants things to be done quickly. And, sometimes that doesn't happen, but, obviously when you're in that place, I get it. He had already been in the hospital. So, obviously, I don't blame him for being frustrated. By that time, he had already been in the hospital for 5 days. He was barely sleeping, barely eating, wasn't able to shower, do all the things. I get it. It's hard for him to keep his patience in the moment. It's hard for me to keep my patience in the moment, because obviously I'm getting frustrated too for him. And anyway, so that was an intense kind of few hours. And then in between, me also trying to work while I'm there, because I don't really have PTO to just take time off. And I'm lucky that my boss will even let me work remote. So finally they took him around, I'd say around like 2 something. They finally took him, said they were taking him to the OR, sent me to the waiting room. In the waiting room, they have like a TV where you can see, there's like patient numbers, and it'll tell you like where they are in the process. And immediately his said in the operating room. So I was like, okay. The surgeon is amazing. She was super, super nice. I really liked her. She had told me the surgery, if all goes well, the surgery should only take like 20 minutes. Okay, great. So I put on thinking that, by the time they do because he was being put fully under, by the time they do the anesthesia and get him settled and do other things, maybe it'll be more like 40 minutes. So I put a 40-minute timer on my phone. That's just kind of how my brain works. I like to count down to things and know how long I have for something, rather than just sitting and waiting idly. So put a timer on, kept doing my work, kept doing my thing. But then all of a sudden, when my alarm went off for 40 minutes, I got up. So I get up to go look at the board to see what his status is, and it still says operating room. So I was like, okay, maybe it's taking a little bit longer. Also, she had said if the port didn't flush properly, then it may be more of an involved surgery, and then she would have to go in laparoscopically, which would mean inflating his stomach, going in with the camera. It was going to be much more involved, and that would take maybe an hour. So I said, okay, maybe it wasn't as easy as we were hoping. He's still in there. But then all of a sudden, I hear her voice, and she's standing out in the waiting room talking to another family. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're in the operating room, how are you out here? So I was very kind of confused. And she saw me waiting too, and she was just kind of hold on, and went back. So finally, I think in total, I ended up waiting in the waiting room maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Finally, she came out. She explained that everything went well. He ended up having a small hematoma, which is a collection of blood, but she watched it very closely. It's not growing. He's not bleeding. She just kind of let it clot on its own and to just watch it and whatever. So that kind of slowed down the surgery a little bit. But she said the port itself was flushing beautifully. Everything went well. She didn't have to go in laparoscopically. She told me about the incisions she made and that everything looked good. So the plan had been surgery. The doctor had already ordered dialysis. They should be bringing the dialysis stuff, remove the catheter from his neck, and then he goes home. Should be fairly simple. I immediately kind of already went in with the knowledge that everything in the hospital takes forever. If they tell you you're doing something, expect to do it 4 hours from now, because they don't move fast in the hospital. So I already had the assumption, we have 4 things on our to-do list. It's going to take 12 hours to get through those 4 things. Nick, again, on the other hand, wants things to be expedient. He wants to get out of here as quick as possible. He wants to get this thing out of his neck that's hurting him. He wants to get home to his own bed, his shower, all his stuff. I get it. They weren't even giving him his full medications, all the things. I totally get it. But I try to be more realistic. Nick wants everything to be sped up. Doesn't always happen that way. So they moved him to a post-surgery wait room. They changed his rooms. So now they changed him into a private room. And we sat there for another 3 hours waiting for the dialysis person to come, which I absolutely agree is ridiculous. It should not take 3 hours for anything to happen, let alone something that the doctor has marked stat. Stat means you get here now, as soon as possible, not 4 hours from now. But that's what happened. Finally, we got into his room at 3 maybe. The dialysis person didn't show up until after 6. We had been told he would do 2 hours of dialysis. the dialysis person shows up and says it's actually 4 hours of dialysis. So part of the frustration was from the beginning, from so part of the frustration the whole week had been that from the moment we arrived, from the ER on, every person we spoke to had something different to say and told us something different, had a different plan. We were getting different answers from different people. And when that happens continuously, and one person is saying, yeah, you can go home today, and the other person is saying, no, you're not, and the one person is saying you're having surgery today, and the other person is saying, no, you're not, and one doctor says we're focusing on your kidneys, and the other doctor says we think you're having a heart attack, like, that becomes very frustrating because you don't know who's right, who's wrong, why they're not communicating, all those things. So it's all just a clear indicator that the healthcare system in the United States is shit, which we know anyways. So yeah, this guy tells us it's going to be 4 hours. By the time it's already, if it's not already 6, it's getting close. So Nick's like, we're not going to get out of here until, 2 a.m. because we still have to do dialysis, still have to remove this. They tell him, in hospitals always, they tell you you're going to be discharged, and it takes 3 hours to discharge you. So Nick's like, we're not going to get out of this hospital until 2 a.m. Our dogs have been in the house by themselves. Dobby goes in a kennel still since 8 a.m. So it's all very frustrating. He kind of went off on the dialysis guy a little bit, which I feel bad now because the dialysis guy ended up being really nice. So the dialysis guy immediately tried to fix it because the nurse, again, more miscommunication and misunderstanding. The nurse is telling us, no, you only have to, the order is for 2 hours of dialysis, and the dialysis person is saying, no, it's 4 hours. And so the dialysis guy shows the nurse where it says, yes, 1 cycle of dialysis is 2 hours, but the doctor ordered 2 cycles, meaning 4 hours. And the nurse had read it wrong. So again, more miscommunication. So finally, the dialysis guy says, okay, I'll tell your doctor, if we do this cycle and if your port works well and the fluid, you're taking the fluid well, and then it drains properly and good, and then you drain it good and there's no blood and it all looks good, then I'll tell the doctor that I think you're good and you don't need to do the second cycle. So we're like, okay, good. Then all of a sudden the charge nurse is coming in and is saying, so again, more miscommunication. It seemed like one thing would get resolved and then another thing would happen, and it would be completely opposite of what everybody else had told us. And for 2 days, the nephrologist, the doctor on the floor he was on, the surgeon, all had said they will remove the catheter in your neck upstairs on the floor. And I thought, how can not just a nurse, but if it takes a full outpatient procedures to put this thing in, is a nurse going to be able to just take it out on the floor? And so I was already thinking in my head, you're going to have to go back into an outpatient procedure to remove this thing, and they don't do anything at night. At night, the hospital basically becomes the hotel that has, a nurse checking on you every 2 hours. There's no doctors, there's no surgeons, there's nobody at the hospital, at night or on the weekends. And so I had already kind of been thinking, well, they're going to tell him they can't do it at night because everything else in the day took so long. So, which is exactly what happened. The charge nurse comes in and she's like, well, you can't be released because you can't be released with this, and we don't have anyone here to take it out. It's nighttime. That the IR department goes home. They close at 6 or whatever. There's no one here to take that out. And so, of course, Nick's having a fit, and we're like, they've been telling us for 3 days that you guys can take this out here. And so, luckily, again, I feel bad because he was a little rude to the dialysis guy, and that guy ended up being very nice. The dialysis guy was like, no, look, it's not a perma cath or whatever that she thought it was. It's a temporary one that just has stitches or sutures. And she's like, hold on, let me go look. So she looks at Nick's neck, and then she goes and reads the notes, and she comes back, and she's like, I'm sorry, I assumed it was the perma cath. You're in a hospital. You have people who are sick. Don't assume anything. Look with your eyes, read the notes, whatever. So again, just more miscommunication or misinterpreting or whatever. So, okay, we get that figured out. Great. She said, okay, yeah, I can take it out. We'll finish the dialysis, make sure your dialysis, PD dialysis port works, and then I can take that out. Okay, great. She comes back little while later, and she says, I can't release you. You haven't been released. And we're like, what are you talking about? His nephrologist told him he was released 3 days ago. He just needed to do dialysis and have the catheter taken out. She's like, yeah, the nephrologist released him, but the doctor on the floor, the hospital doctor, has not released him. And Nick's like, I don't even know that doctor. So, Nick's like, I've seen this doctor once a day in the morning. He's literally in my room for all of 2 minutes, has never seen me before in my life, doesn't know me, doesn't know my history, doesn't know anything about me. Why is it this doctor, one, who has the say of whether I'm discharged or not, when the nephrologist is actually my nephrologist who knows me and is on the transplant team? And the only reason I came here was to make sure that my kidney was okay. Yes, I was having shortness of breath, but it was all due to the kidney. And this whole time I've just been told that I need dialysis, and I'm having dialysis. So it's like, why is it this doctor making the decision? And they're like, well, he's the doctor on the floor, he's the doctor on your ward, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, where is he? Tell him to come talk to me. Because at first, actually, that's not true. The whole time they were saying, well, we don't know why he won't discharge you. It's not in his notes. He just didn't put that you were cleared for discharge. And it's like, okay, well, where is he? Have him come see me. Have him come talk to me. Tell me why I'm not discharged. Is there something else going on that you guys, that I haven't been told about? Whatever. And they're like, oh, well, he's not here. He's gone for the night. So I have to sit here for another night, basically just to sleep here. You're not actually going to do anything tonight, just to wait for tomorrow for him to come back to work to then deign to tell me why I'm not released. Again, somebody that I don't even know. So immediately Nick was like, I'm not doing that. Like, he's like, my actual doctor, the nephrologist, released me. The surgeon herself who just did the procedure released me. Like, the people that I've actually dealt with and know have released me. Some random doctor that has seen me once for 2 minutes, like, I don't give a shit. So this whole thing happened. Thankfully, the dialysis went great. The part that we actually cared about went great. He drained perfectly. No blood, no nothing. He's not too sore. They were able to take this out pretty easily. And he ended up signing himself out, like, against medical advice, which I hate that, like, connotation, because it makes it seem like, I mean, he did go against doctor's advice, but, like, again, a doctor who knows nothing about him, wasn't even in the building, and couldn't tell him why he couldn't be released. To me, that makes it seem like you're just trying to milk my insurance, Everything else is fine. He's no longer short of breath. The dialysis is working. He has the port in he needs. Like, we assumed that the doctor was...
Okay, guys, so one of the things we need to do today is figure out where all of the boxes of dialysis supplies are going to go once they deliver them all when we start training this week. So I think they're going to have to go in here because Nick's office doesn't really have space. It's literally like 50 boxes, so they can't go in our bedroom. I think they're all just going to have to go here, kind of stacked up. That's what we had last time. We had like a den, and they just stacked them all up like 10 boxes deep or high. And then I'll probably have to clean this off so we can keep like all the tape and tubing and all that kind of stuff in here as well. And also it's closer to our bedroom where the machine's going to be, so I think that'll just work out better. So I grabbed the blankets that I had on the floor. Some of them were like half finished knitting projects, which I need to go through that because that's what that is too. Blankets that we don't really use anymore, so I'm going to throw some of them out. I have a pile of blankets here that I want to get washed so that they're nice and clean. I need a vacuum in here for sure. Clean up this area, put away all this stuff, and then try to kind of sort out this closet a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to worry about the closet as much, but this will kind of be our storage area for however long. And this door will end up staying closed anyways because the dogs won't be able to come in here, so I'll just come in here when I can to kind of work and write, which I haven't been doing that much anyways. But I would like to do a little bit more, so yeah, that is what I am working on first. And we're also getting the laundry going. Nick is shaving. He hasn't been able to shave in like a week and a half, so he's doing that. We're doing the laundry. I'm gonna start getting this cleaned up. We're getting our sheets changed out, all that good stuff. It's a few hours later. We're gonna ignore whatever it is my hair is doing because I just got out of the shower and picked it up. We had breakfast. We showered. We've done most of the laundry. We're washing our bedding. We're washing blankets. I got my yarn and stuff somewhat organized. I'm gonna order. I found this little basket on Amazon. It has like pockets for each roll of yarn. I don't think it's called a roll of yarn, whatever it's called, of yarn. It even has like holes for the yarn to come through, so you can just knit and keep the yarn right in the basket. So I'm gonna order that. I often keep my yarn right by my bedside, like by my, what's it called, nightstand, because I like to knit in bed often. Like that's like what I'll do at night to like wind down. So I'm gonna get that and do that, and then I ordered some clear like stackable drawers to put medical supplies in, all the gauze and tape and masks and gloves and tubing and all the things that we're going to be having coming, so we can kind of keep it somewhat organized and don't have to have a bunch of boxes, because we're already going to have all the boxes of saline. So just trying to organize everything as best we can. I made Nick go downstairs and sit and relax because he's been doing a lot. He's been trying to help with the laundry and stuff, but I think he needs to sit and relax and drink some water and just kind of calm down.